guys, Dragonarty here, and today we'll be talking about a few of the less known things about Noble Knights, or less liked things about Noble Knights. A few theories I have, and some tips and tricks that I don't think many people have thought of, or even knew they could do. So I guess I'll get started in the first thing. First things first is a big conspiracy about this card, Noble Knights of the Round Table. Now, if you can see in the picture, which is not zooming in very well, there's actually a seat missing, with everyone around the table looking at what seems to be you. Now, that's one little hint Konami has given us. Now, another thing I'd like to point out is Konami does give us hints of cards that haven't come out yet. I don't have one with me anymore because I got rid of it, but one example is Mount Sylvania, the Sylvan field spell. If you look at it carefully, it has Hermitry on it and another very tall tree in the center. This was most likely a hint to Sylvan Sage Quad. I don't know how to say it, but the new one that just came out in Primal Origins, that's worth a fair bit of money. And I think they've done similar with this. They've given us a small hint with the chair there. But there's also more hints that they've given us. And it's actually in the text of a few of these cards that I have. If it wants to zoom in, which I don't think it does, but it says, during your end phase, you can activate each one of these effects up to once per turn, depending on the total number of Noble Knight cards with different names in your graveyard and or your control. Hint 1. Noble Knight cards. Now that might be just referring to this being a Noble Knight card itself. Or it might be referring to something more because of the 3 or more effect. Send 1 Noble Knight card from your deck to the grave. That's a hint I don't think many people have noticed. But that started before this. It started in Shadow Spectres, which was, at the end of the battle phase, if this card destroyed a monster by battle and sent it to the graveyard, you can add 1 Noble Knight or Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand. Brothers also states, I don't know why this is not zooming in, I'm sorry. You can target 3 Noble Knight and or Noble Arm cards in your grave, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 1 card. But that doesn't stop there. This came out long before in another card, Noble Knight Boars, which states, during your main phase you can reveal 3 Noble Armed cards from your deck and have your opponent randomly add 1 of them to your hand and send the rest to your graveyard. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but it wasn't until Legacy of the Valiant, which Guinevere came out. She was the difference between a Noble Arms equip spell, which a lot of other cards, including Black Lancelot says, you tribute 1 Noble Knight monster and add 1 Noble Arms card. Oh, I guess I was wrong. It is 1 Noble Arms card. Hell, this is from Abyss Rising. But what it does have is, on summon, like cards, you equip Noble Arm equip spells. I guess I was wrong. I guess even back in Abyss Rising it was giving us hints towards that. But yeah, it wasn't until Shadow Spectres that Gwen, Noble Arms card, which wasn't an equip spell, was given to us. Now, I'm not sure if there's going to be any more Noble Arms cards that aren't equip spells, but I am sure that there are going to be more cards which are not going to be our typical Noble Knights, like Round Table was. Now, my theory might be that it's going to be something like Merlin, Advisor to Noble Knights. Something like that. That's just my theory. I'm not someone who works for Konami. I have no idea. I'm not a psychic. But I think it might be something to do with these 2 cards, Round Table and Brothers, in the way that Round Table is sent to the grave. It'll get an effect when it's sent to the grave. Brothers will send it back, and you're redoing it, recycle it over and over. It might be something that mills a card. You know, it could be a spell card. Merlin could be a spell card if it's Merlin. Seeing as it's in Duelist Alliance, it could be a Pendulum monster, which could make sense. You know, Merlin could be a spell or a monster. I'm sure it's more likely to be a monster than anything else. But I'm guessing it would have an effect that, you know, if it's sent to the grave, do X, or if it's returned to your deck, do X. It's something that would complete this deck entirely. And it's something that makes me say that these cards, although they're not worth a lot now, I think that they're very good to hold on to, because we don't know what's coming out. Only Konami does, and who knows what they got planned for us. I'm hoping it's something really, really good. My next tip is about Avalon. Now, talking about what we were saying before, perhaps, you know, it might have an effect that if it's sent back to the deck, you add all your banished cards from your grave, from being banished back into your grave. Possibly. But again, I doubt that. This card at the moment is jank. But I can see people trying one to see what it looks like. But the artwork on this card is still beautiful, so I grabbed two. Alright, next tip. It starts with a mix of a few cards. Say that was probably act as a better example for this, so it doesn't get negated. But it's actually Lady of the Lake that I'm going to be talking about now. First of all, I'd like to state that cards like Divine Wrath and Karma Cut are actually really good in this deck. I've started sideboarding this, it's absolutely amazing. Because cards like this, Ector and Artorigus and Gwen, are free discards. I can't stress more in every single video that I make of how good cards like this, which require a discard, are. And that having a free discard like this is really good. People complain they can't get their lady to the grave and it's a waste in their hand. Run these. You know, don't run two of each at the same time, because you'll get clogged. Run 3 of one, or 2 of one, 1 of the other, or just 2 and 2 sideboard. So for this scenario, we're going to start with, perhaps we've used Karma Cut to send Lady of the Lake to the grave. Alright. So, and just say this is an Ector. I haven't got mine at the moment. It's still on its way. So, one other thing we're going to need is a few other cards in the grave. We're going to say just one Excalibur for now. And we're going to need Imperial Iron Wall in the field. Now this card I sideboard for against things like Bujins and Chaos. This card is actually very good sideboard, not just for defensive but also for offensive moves like this. Okay, so you use Lady of the Lake's effect to eat your Ector or your Black Lancelot's level, special summon her out. Now say it's Ector, you go into Synchro, she does not get banished. Her effect is, if she's used as a Synchro, she'll get banished. Not you banish her straight, you have to banish her to use her as a Synchro. If she is used, you're banished. But she is used, but she can't be banished because of Imperial Iron Wall, so she goes back to the grave. So, you special summon out High Lancelot. Say you have to search out Artorigus because they've got a set spell and trap, right? Say perhaps you've used Ector, they have a set Fiendish Chain, you use Arth onto it, they chain Fiendish Chain onto High Lancelot, he can't do a lot. What you then can do is, you can use Lady of the Lake. I'll tell you why Brothers is there in a second. Lady of the Lake, his level by 1, and then Synchro out again into the second one. Arth goes on to Brothers, Destiny goes on to High Lancelot, and then you're stuck. Or are you? Well, you're not actually, because see these 3 cards? Yeah? Brother's effect. Send them back to your deck. Perhaps what you draw with his effect is round table. So, this guy is now back in your extra deck, which means we can use Lady of the Lake yet again. Special summon her out, and then sink. Destiny's already only been used once. Special summon out High Lancelot. Hey look, Excalibur comes back out. We now have a field of Imperial Iron Wall and 3 other cards. Now say they do something ridiculous and they're stopping your combos, you can't do anything, you can't attack, I don't know. Say they've got like 3 Swords of Revealing Light or something stupid. And you really want to get past this, but you've got nothing else to do. First comes first, Lady of the Lake eats his level. He is now a 4 permanently. Same as with Black Lancelot and Ector. This is something I've done before just to bring out the 4. And with Ector, it means that when this guy comes out, his summon can't be negated and nothing can be played in response to his summon. So, you then want to go into him. Go into him, these 3 get destroyed. His effect activates, targets these 3, puts them back on. You activate his effect, detach. 1, 2, 3, destroyed. Remember, your opponent has to activate cards if they want to in response to the activation of this, not the destroying, because the destroying is this card doesn't target, and the destroying of cards is the effect resolution. So, if you activate the effect, they must activate their cards in response immediately, and not when you choose to destroy cards, which actually helps you out a lot when you choose what to destroy. So, next we're going to do is we're going to play a round table. It's a field spell, just over here. Attack through, whatever you want to do, 2000 damage. End phase. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Which means you can use his effect, the round table's effect of 3 or more, and send your Black Lancelot or Ector back to the grave. Now, you haven't used a lot, but what you've done is you've made a backfield very heavily, and say if you had another Excalibur in the grave from before, you can't do a lot because of Imperial Iron Wall, but say you destroyed it. Now, what you can do is you can banish out that, and then go and rank up again into the rank 5 guy, then use his effect. In the same turn, this is before you send the Ector back in, you'll have 6. If you manage to get his attack off, you'll have a search, so you'll have another card in your hand. There are many other tips and tricks that I can do with this, but I'm just trying to show you guys one thing that you can do. I really like when people, try to think up these things themselves, because it's one of those things that I have not ever seen someone else do, or even heard of anyone else thinking of doing something like that. Again, it's something you can do. I've made plenty of plays. I mean, against Fire Fists, this is a guy that I want to get out. But if I go Madrot into Boars, most of the time I'm going to be getting this guy out. And against Fire Fists, that's not what I want. I want this guy. And Lady of the Lake eating Boars' level after I've got more cards has helped me do that and set up 4 on the back row. And that's the difference between, that bit of knowledge is the difference between winning and losing a game. Look, people might not like Lady, but she does open up plays that, not having her just doesn't do. The same as this. This card really does help your deck. It really does speed things up. I want to know how many people are playing this. it doesn't look like many people are playing this at the moment, but look, even if you get its effect off once, the 3 effect, and it's destroyed, that's still a foolish burial. Might not be what you want, might not be the lady or the Gwen, but it still is. And like I said, I'm expecting that something decent's going to come out in just Advent, which is the Noble Knight card, that when it's sent to the grave does something, or when it's returned from the grave does something. But, you know, and again, brothers, besides his effect to, you know, do something else, he's just, he's go great. Like, say you got Excitoned, and you didn't have this guy ready in the grave off his effect. You could go into brothers, sit on that in defense mode, Exciton can't attack through that, and then do the same play I showed you before. Maybe you have an Ector in the grave, you'd banish out 2 monsters and special summon out Ector, use the lady to eat Ector's level, then go into him. You probably won't have Imperial Iron, or maybe your opponent does, but you know, it's just something you can do that you know gives you an avenue or an opportunity to do something different. I've seen too many people recently playing the exact same cards, doing the exact same combos. It's too predictable. This deck is a hell of a lot more versatile than people seem to think that it is. And I want to see people, you know, playing cards like Brothers and Round Table. You know, it's not all about this deck. I haven't seen once being about winning turn 1 or turn 2. I feel I've played a hell of a lot of games with this deck, and I feel like it's more about getting to turn 20, and your opponent is just exhausted from you whittling down their resources that they can't do anything, and they just want to give up. Decks that have unlimited resources almost, like Medolches or Mermails or Harpies, or they're ones that stand up more against this. But, you know, that's just my point of view on this. I really would like to see what other people think on this, and what other combos other people have come up with that they think, you know, is really good. Or what people have just thought of, you know, if people have thought this is illuminating to them, if they hadn't thought of stuff like this before that Noble Knights could actually do. Comment in the comment section down below. I really would like to hear feedback on this, to see if this has helped anyone or given anyone, you know, new ideas for the deck that they perhaps wouldn't have thought of before. Because I really do want people thinking about this kind of stuff. And I would like to get involved with other people in ideas of how they run their deck and what they think is good. And, you know, just help people out, have some fun on the way. And yeah, so leave a comment or whatever you want to do. And if you liked it, give it a like. And hopefully, if you guys do like videos like this, I'll be able to I'll try to do some more tips and tricks. And my deck profile for post PRIO will be coming up soon. See you later, guys.